all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Seeing is believing, and you're not going to believe how bright and vivid the colors are on the Samsung Neo QLED and OLED TVs powered by the Neural Quantum Processor. Because this is an audio ad. Unless you can see it, which means you already have one. Nice. Samsung, more wow than ever.
Now,
the No Fruit Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Maurice.
And this is Kafa.
We thank you for tuning in today. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
We know that you are going to enjoy today's episode. You know why?
Why?
Because y'all have been enjoying us thus far. That's how we know. Why else? You're back, right?
Yeah.
You guess.
Yeah, that's it.
You guess.
They're back.
Yeah.
We back.
We're back, yes, most definitely. And it feels good to be back on the air with my beloved.
Yes, I agree.
It has been a journey. We've learned a lot. We've done a lot. We've experienced a lot. And you will hear about it as each episode comes along. Mm-hmm. It has been a journey. So you're probably going to get a whole heck of a lot of information of our last year, plus whatever other current events is kind of going on. So one of the things that I would like to talk about in this episode. Last episode, we talked about our kids and are they really gone, right? Mm-hmm. And, we kind of caught y'all up from birth to college, right? We gave y'all their whole biography, autobiography, life story. Well, not their whole one, but, we kind of discussed it a little bit, right? From the beginning to where they are currently. But one of the things that Kaf and I, we discuss periodically, and we're noticing how they are dealing with it now. It's something that we may not have touched on as much as we probably should have. And this is just my opinion. And I see that they're struggling with it to some degree, which is financial literacy. I know that we did not make them do a whole lot financially growing up. We didn't. Kafa did play this game with them, going to the market. Can you guess how much we're about to spend, right? Can you guess, right, how much money we're spending? Every so often when we would go on a trip, we would talk to them about, do you know how much we just spent on this trip? Because we wanted them to understand that, one, money doesn't grow on trees. And number two, when you're ready to do this type of stuff, here's what it costs to have fun, for us to eat, right? Something as basic as eating. And let's touch on that for a second. So this one year we had gone to Maryland. We had gone down to Great Adventure down there. We stayed in one hotel, played around that hotel, went to Great Adventure, and on our way back, we had gone to Baltimore.
It's called Six Flags in Maryland. It's
okay,
Great Adventure
I'm sorry.
Jersey.
Yes, right. Six
I'm
Flags.
You're like, we went to Great Adventure in Maryland.
I'm sorry, Six Flags.
Me confused.
And did some things down there in Maryland, And then on our way back, we stayed one night in Baltimore Harbor, right? Just, just chilling on our vacation. And so we had gone to a restaurant, which, it was my first time going there. I had heard about it, but let's see what is popping for. And the name of that restaurant is called Bubba Gump's. Well, of course they had seen the movie. No, I think our daughter had seen the movie. Maurice had not. I can't remember.
I think they both had seen the movie.
But we were joking about it. We were having fun. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, I still have some pictures of it on my Instagram page. This was years ago, and we were enjoying ourselves, right? But when we had gone back to the room, and I forgot what the situation was, but we started talking about how much was spent. And they were amazed at how much was spent in that restaurant for the four of us to eat. And so now as they are older and they're using their own money, what's been happening is that because I expressed to them, like, one thing, you only come about this way once. Yes, you want to save some money, but you also want to have some experiences, and sometimes experiences come with a cost, and cost is not always financial. Yes, it's time or whatever, but those that do come with a cost or that comes with a financial backing to it, is it worth that cost? And so our children are like, hey, here it is right now. This is what's going on. I want to spend this money on this, right? But what happens is when something else comes up next week, now all of a sudden they're having buyer's remorse, which is what Kafa had talked to me about a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. About why she does not one of the things that we talk about is buying clothes. Something as basic as, we're going to just say buying clothes. If you spend the money, and how much do you spend? How much don't you spend? And what happens is, just the way life has worked, for whatever reason, we'll spend the money, and then something else comes up, and now all of a sudden you got buyer's remorse, right?
Right.
And I was talking to her, and just trying to say, hey, you know what? At this point in time, especially in this point in our lives, we've learned how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And so if there's something that you like, you might as well just go ahead and get it, because we're going to deal with it anyway, one way or the other. You can't always prepare for the worst. You get what I mean? We're going to have to enjoy life. And that's one of the things that I've learned over the years. Personally, I've always planned for the worst, mm-hmm. and not enjoy what's going on. And I think some of that has affected the way we've parented in some ways, okay. And how it has affected our kids to some ways too. Mm-hmm. Because now because I'm like, hey, if you like it, buy it, and they've been buying it. Mm-hmm. Well, the issue is that now they are, like I said, having buyer's remorse in some ways, because they coming across their school bills, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, I want to do this. Okay, well, if you want to do this, you got to do that. And that's some of the challenges that we've been going through. So have we really taught our children being fiscally responsible, mm-hmm. Overall, because of whether we've been nervous or scared or cautious or this, that, and the other, but at the same time trying to live, I'm not sure. Kyle, what's your thoughts?
I think, first of all, this is a topic was not taught in our own homes. It wasn't really taught in school. It still to this day is not part of the regular curriculum.
Right.
Now, our children did go through a program on Saturdays where they did cover it to some degree. They talked about savings accounts and CDs and things like that, that just putting your money in a basic account is not where it is. And they asked them to open up accounts and things like that. And I think that was part of their homework, and we had them open up new accounts. But we didn't follow up with that and like have them regularly check it and see if the money is growing or not, those types of things. Because once a year I get a message saying, hey, you haven't done anything with this account. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot that they had these accounts.
Right.
There's money there and it's growing, but I got to put something else in there. So I think the troubling part for us is that we don't have that curriculum. We don't have that language. We don't have a true way of teaching financial responsibility other than, see me do. And as Maurice has said, that I get weary on buying things because we've had, me growing up, we didn't always have money. And we were short on things. We could have been short on rent, could have been short on bills, things like that. So I do recall those times. I'm always nervous and I don't want to relive those feelings. So I get a little cautious when it comes to that part of life, or just letting go and spending. So, I mean, and in the past, I've kind of tried to not live off of credit cards, have them available, but not live off of them. And that's kind of changed a little bit to some degree, but I wasn't quite sure how to manage it all because of my past. So I do get a little cautious when it comes to buying things of my mother and my other matriarch of my family, my aunt, who helped to raise me as well, were very much thrifty shoppers. I mean, would look for the cheapest thing especially when it came to clothing, because both of them were into fashion. So they knew, that's a cotton shirt. It doesn't cost that much. Like, it's cotton. Like, and they can look in the inside and see that the stitching was not double stitch. It was a single stitch. And they would go all the way in. And I can remember stories of my aunt trying to finagle things with the cashier, getting the manager, and like, look, this is torn. The button is coming off, like, because they made clothes themselves. And my mother went to school for textiles and was a model, like, so all of those things. And they knew, like, hey, I'm going to still have to take this home and fix it, So I think I still have some of that inside of me that, like, why am I paying this much for this? It's still just a cotton shirt. Now, if it has a better quality, things like that. And my mother raised me that way. Like, we would go shopping and she says, don't buy these pants. Don't buy this because it doesn't have a lining. You need it to have this and it needs to have that. It only has one button. It should have two, so it lay flat, So all of those things I'm looking at and questioning before I make a purchase. So, how long is it going to last? I was not raised to really purchase something and wear it once and toss it. It was like, no, like, it has to be an item that is of good quality. And having good quality means it's going to last a long time. Not it's good quality and you can wear it and then, gift it to someone else or donate it or whatever. So even when it came to trendy things like that, I'm like, okay, that's not going to be in style next. Like, I'm going to look weird wearing that pattern or that cut a year later. So those are some of the reasons why it was difficult there. Likewise, when it came to like other purchases, I'd be upset when if I bought something at one store and then I go to another store, I'm like, dang, it's on sale over here. I could get two for the price that I just bought the one. So that I'm like kicking myself later on with, like Maurice said, with the buyer's remorse. So those are just some of my things. But again, how do we teach our kids how to shop and how to plan some of those things out. So, I would, as Marie said, I would have the kids guess how much things cost.
Mm-hmm.
I would, more recently, would stop and cut coupons out prior to shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And know, hey, you might like that type of toothpaste, but this one's on sale, and I have a coupon for it. So, and that all kind of started from watching TV, and somebody had a TV show on with mega coupon. I forget the name of it, extreme couponing or something like that.
I'm about to say, yeah, that was your coupon show.
That was and I was like, how did they get all this stuff for free?
Yeah.
Like, I want to, but up here it just never seemed to work. But I mean, I can get it close.
But not down to getting, almost $1,000 worth of stuff for like $3.
No,
so
I could never do that. But you would be like, why do you have 6 bottles of shampoo? And why do you have 6 bottles of lotion?
Right.
Hey, I'm getting the
Well, the issue for me was I never wanted to be gluttonous, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but, just having an overabundance.
I mean, I'm not
especially,
I'm not going to have an overabundance of something that's perishable. I mean, that great, again, soap and lotion, yes, it has a shelf life, but we use that every day.
No, but understand that, when we look at some of them shows and
Right.
they've converted almost their garage
Mm-hmm.
into a whole market. Well, here's the thing. Here's the question. At what point in time are you going to use 32 bottles of detergent?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean?
Right.
And then because you are so addicted, not you personally, but, some of these people are addicted to saving, right? They're constantly buying and buying and buying. I mean, some of them shows were showing where people were using other people's houses because they were buying so much.
Right.
And so
I wasn't getting there. I'm just saying the fact of with my shopping, those are the things the kids have seen.
right.
And what things I've displayed was, hey, there are options and ways to reduce the cost of things so that we can enjoy bubble gum, so that we can enjoy a vacation more so and not have buyer's remorse.
Well, I mean, I know for myself, you had talked about clothes a few moments ago. Well, here's I guess my response to that would be, first of all, it's harder for guys, in my opinion, to find clothes that are not
That are $2.
right. Right. Yeah, that's not the easiest thing to find.
You're not gonna find a shirt for $2, but I can find something every now and then.
Right. And then even if you go to a secondhand store or whatever else, for whatever reason, my experiences, guys' clothes are like super, super worn, right? So it's been a little harder. And then on top of that, it's not easy when you are above a large
Right.
in clothing. So finding the right size, because keeping in mind a XL, 2X, 3X, whatever else is not the same across brands. I mean, most people experience that anyway. So it's sometimes a little difficult. So when you are on the larger size, it's harder to find what you need. So for me, it's like if I'm going to buy something, and especially if I want it to last, and I wanted for it to keep its shape longer or whatever it is, because I'm not taking everything to the cleaners. You get what I mean? And even with that, the cleaners are not even cleaning the way they used to in the past anyway. At least the ones we've been going to. They've been okay, but I don't feel like it's almost like I can take the clothes and put them in a dryer and use a dryer cleaning bag that you see in the market. So I know I'm simplifying it, but sometimes certain ones just feel like that's all they're really doing. That's the way it feels and smells or whatever. For me, it's more or less like, all right, if I'm going to spend this money on this shirt, I like the shirt, and number 2, is it the quality that I'm looking for? That way it will last. It will keep its shape. It won't, as soon as I wash it and dry it, it's not going to get stretched out or whatever it is. Now, long term, it will. But ultimately, I don't want it to happen so fast.
Right.
I listened to one of my uncles the other day talk about, he's too cheap to buy a suit. And I think some of that is, what is your profession? And what are you wearing said clothes to and for? What is your environment? Now, I'm not saying buy something where someone's name is plastered all over it. You get what I mean? But, when they talk about people that have a lot of money and they wearing these plain T-shirts, no one's saying that those are Walmart T-shirts, though, either. They just don't have the name plastered all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a difference in understanding quality and your usage of it or whatever it is. I mean, our son, he been wanting a PS5 forever. And he had money. I mean, he was working all summer, and GameStop had a little sale, with a bundle, and he spent $1,000 on that. Now, he's using the mess out of it. Let's be honest, right? He is. He's getting his $1,000 worth. But it's all the games and all the other stuff that goes with it that I think where he is mismanaging his money.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? And how many of you feel the same way? There's a lot of people that's kind of buying all the extra stuff to a game. But what else do you have to go on in your life? Should that money be going to a class to even make your own game? Make your own, money from that? Should the money be used for, some other type of investments? Whether it's stock or mutual funds or bonds, which are really trying to make a comeback right now. Have you invested in the business? Do you understand how, what it takes to get your house and your credit stuff together? Whatever it is there a better use for the money?
Right.
And one of the things that we're going through, where we're trying to renovate our house a little bit today, we understand what it means, and keep it in mind, a lot of stuff that goes on in our house. I mean, there's a lot of it we're doing on our own.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I must say about my wife. My wife does not have a problem with picking up a hammer, a screwdriver, lifting up a garage door. Like,
I like power tools. Maurice will tell you about a time he said, "What do you want? What was it for my birthday or whatever?"
Whatever it was, when you wanted the chainsaw.
I wanted a chainsaw.
Yo, first of all, I was scared to death.
Why?
Why in the world would you want a chainsaw?
Because I was the one that was helping to clean out the backyard.
I understand that, but I was nervous, especially, watching movies and things like that. That was just a very odd.
It was a little baby chainsaw. I wasn't going to do nothing.
It's not baby. Actually, I need to go buy a new chain for that chainsaw too.
Yes, I know it doesn't cut very well anymore.
Yes.
But anyway.
But I
like power tools, and that's fine. So anyway, but getting back to what we're talking about when it comes to financial literacy and what we've been taught. I remember when we first started dating, you kind of had said, when you get paid, you pay yourself first.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what your upbringing was. And I kind of came from, I didn't really have, again, anybody tell me what to do when I got my first paycheck. But I wanted to make sure, hey, for me, it was pay all my debts first. And then what I had left, I could play with. So that's kind of what I had. I wasn't mostly paying myself first or whatever. Now I was, I guess I wasn't a shopaholic, but I had store credit cards and I had a regular credit card. So there's certain bonuses and things like that you get with having credit. So I would utilize that to my ability and get my discount. So again, I was looking at discounts and things like that even then. So my one store credit card, on Tuesdays, you got an extra 10% off.
Right.
So I was, at least in their store once a week. I didn't say I always purchased something, but I certainly was in that store every Tuesday looking at what.
So what store is this again?
I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, okay. And here's the only reason why I asked, because, again, like you said, when we first started dating, one of your stores was New York and Company.
Right. But it wasn't called that then, so that's why I didn't want to go down that lane. But it's good, yes.
But what was it, Lerner?
It was.
All right. See, I know I'm a shopper. Anyway, but keep that in mind that was not the everyday type space. It wasn't. It was very similar to me going to Structure at that time, which is Structure and Express merged. But when you're going for a different level of quality of clothing, where it's not going to wear very fast, where it's not going to fall apart when you wash it. There's not too many places where the seams are coming apart and there's a stitch that's hanging out, a thread hanging out. So I think there's a different level of expectation when you buy something that's quality.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're trying to teach our kids, if you're going to spend it, you're going to spend it on quality. But even with that quality, understanding that, like, again, our son and his PlayStation is quality, right? But is it really worth it?
Right.
At the same time, is it really worth long term? Now, granted, he's only 19 years old, and he doesn't have a sense of responsibility today.
I mean, recently he needed some new jeans.
Well, again, what's his priority? Because that's clothes-wise.
No, I'm just saying, he looked at the prices because I always tell them, shop around.
Right.
Because there may be some deals or whatever. And there were no deals at that particular time. And he was just, he didn't want to spend over $50 on a pair of jeans.
Again, he's not a small guy.
Right.
He's actually taller than me. So.
And, and I was just more so at that point. And I do this with my daughter as well because she purchases more trendy clothes, but don't get things that are going to only last you one season.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least get a year's worth out of them if possible, especially when it's comes something like blue jeans or black jeans or whatever kind they are. Hopefully get some time out of them because it's such a staple in your wardrobe. So don't get any that are going to fray very quickly or that are going to change color quickly or you're going to get holes in them very quickly. Whatever that is, like pay attention to what you have. And I say, well, look in your closet, which ones are still there, and when did you get them? So he, opted to go to a certain store because it was more his price point. And he knew that it was something that was going to last.
Right.
So I agreed. I said, okay, that's fine. And that's where we went. But some of the things I think that we have taught them outside of, hey, how much do food cost? How much does a trip cost? How much do your clothes cost? Once they started college and had a job, we encouraged them to get their own credit card and learn how to manage that outside of their banking, regular banking. And then they all have additional savings with a high interest to it that they don't touch. So they can put money away in there, and we tell them that's their, post-graduation money, that's going to be their down payment on a car or, whatever it is that's larger that they would have to do. So that's what we are helping them to do. Along with that, one other quick tip for parents. If you feel secure with your child and you are trying to help them increase their credit numbers, if you have a credit card with a high amount, you can add them to your credit card as a user. You don't have to give them a card, but you just adding them there will help boost their credit score greatly. So we've done that with our kids as well, just helping them to establish credit and then helping them by boosting their credit score by just adding them to our current high limit credit card. So that's one quick tip. I hope it helps somebody. If it does, please let us know. If you have any tips on how you're helping your family, especially your youngsters, with just literacy when it comes to finances. Again, it's something that's not taught in schools, but it's something that we need right now. Please let us know. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank y'all very much. We talk to y'all a little later.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop-off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.